Everyone is obsessed with these new viral beauty products. They can't stop wearing them. They can't stop raving about them, but are they worth the money? That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. I have thoroughly tested all of these products so I can let you know if I think you'll enjoy them, if they're a little bit overhyped, if there are a lot of pros or some major cons. We'll talk about everything in today's video. I have a lot of newer launches to talk about and then a couple of products that have been around for a while but have gone super viral and I've finally had the chance to test them out. So let's chat about them. I do want to say thank you to Agency for sponsoring today's video. I actually tried Agency products for the first time back in summer of 2021, and I've been a big fan ever since because they really simplify your skincare routine. They have amazing, effective ingredients that they use, and they offer custom prescription formulas. So my husband and I adopted our second son back in January, and we've been in the middle of the newborn phase for a lot of 2024. And when you have a newborn and a toddler, you have to make some changes to your schedule. And for me, one of the first things to go was my long, peaceful, drawn out nighttime routine. I have to be honest, I fell asleep with my makeup on more times than I would like to admit in the beginning of 2024. And I really felt accomplished if I just got the chance to wash my face and apply moisturizer. But truthfully, my skin kind of needs more than that at this point. I'm in my 30s and my skincare needs are just different now than they were even a few years ago. I have more fine lines. I have more pronounced wrinkles on my face. There's hyperpigmentation and texture. My skin is aging and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It is a true privilege to age, and our society doesn't always see it that way when it comes to our skin, but it is an opportunity that I'm thankful for every single day. But I still want to make sure I'm taking care of my skin in the best way possible at every stage of my life. And at this point in my life, I need a little bit more than just face wash and moisturizer. So I actually started using Agency again 2 months ago, and I'm so glad I did. Like I mentioned earlier, Agency provides personalized prescription skincare made for you by a dermatology provider. The best part is you can do everything right from your own home in just a few minutes. All you do is sign up and take a quiz, which helps their dermatology providers get to know you and your unique skincare concerns and goals. Then you'll receive your personalized plan and custom prescription formulas. So here's a look at my future formula. It's been prescribed to target firmness, skin texture, and wrinkles, and it does include tretinoin, which I have tried in the past, but I hadn't been using it regularly, so this was a great way to incorporate it back into my routine slowly. And something that I really love about Agency is your dermatology provider will connect with you before your next refill, and they can continue to personalize your ingredients over time. So as your skin changes and evolves, your formula can do the same. I also have the dark spot formula, which I love because my skin is really acne prone and it breaks out fairly often. And whenever it does, I'm always left with a spot that will not go away. So it's really nice to have this in my routine. I've already seen a difference, especially on one spot of my face on the left that was so stubborn. I'll share some before and after photos. The truth is, we're all busy. No matter what stage of life we're in, it's not just me. I know you're really busy too. And what I love about Agency is I'm still able to take some time for self-care and just be able to have a really effective, simplified skincare routine and use personalized prescription skincare without having to leave my house and go to another appointment. Agency actually offers a 30-day free trial. I'll put a link right at the top of the description box below and pin a comment. That way you can click the link and try it out. All you have to do is pay $4.95 for shipping and handling. Agency is amazing. I highly recommend trying it out. I know you'll love it as much as I do. Let's start with this product from Rare Beauty. So this is their Soft Pinch Luminous Powder Blush. I have two different shades. They actually have 6 options and it retails for $26. I have to say this product was overhyped from the moment it was announced. Before people even had the chance to apply it to their skin, they were hyping it up. They were raving about it. This definitely is not going to be a product for everyone. I do enjoy it, but I feel like there are less expensive alternatives and it has quite a few potential cons. So I would really decide whether or not you think you would wear this formula regularly before spending $26 on it. It's a very lightweight product. It feels very silky on the skin. It doesn't have a ton of pigment. It's pretty light, pretty soft. So if you do like a very pigmented blush, this probably won't be for you. I feel like they are a good mix between a highlighter and a blush. They definitely give your skin a glowy, luminous finish, but because they're kind of almost like translucent leaning and they don't have a ton of pigment, I do find that they look pretty on the skin as a blush or a blush topper. You can use them on their own, but they also look nice layered on top of the Rare Beauty liquid blushes, but you don't have to use them in that way. I would say if you're looking to really build them up, that's when they're going to start to really enhance texture. If you're going in with a small amount, I actually don't find that they enhance texture to the extent I thought they would. I actually have one on today. I have the shade Cheer on, but I'm wearing it on top of a liquid blush, and I feel like it just kind of worked to enhance the liquid formula. My skin's looking a little bit oily because I've been sitting here under the lights for a little while, but I do think it looks pretty on the skin. It's a little bit of a tricky formula that won't be for everyone. So I would say these are overhyped. They might be worth it to you if you like that type of formula, but still, the hype is so over the top for these. So if you're looking for a more affordable alternative, I would recommend the Milani Baked Blushes. Those have a lot more pigment. So if you want something more vibrant on the skin, a little bit more substantial, those will be a great alternative. The Essence Pure Nude Baked Blushes kind of give you like that blush highlighter effect, and those come in a bunch of shades, I think for like $6 each. This is not a brand new launch. It's something that's pretty popular. I finally got the chance to try it out. It's the Saie Dew Liquid Blush. I'm so impressed by this formula. For a little while, I held out because my skin does lean more oily, and anything that has the word like dew or glow or luminous in it, I kind of hesitate a little bit. Those just aren't always the longest lasting products for my skin type, but this is such a beautiful formula. It does have a nice natural glow to it, but it's not glowy because of shimmer or glitter. It just truly has like this beautiful dewy finish. It applies like a dream. It is so easy to kind of smooth out and blend in. You can go in with a little bit more to build it up, which I was surprised about. I expected it to be incredibly sheer, and I do like more of a sheer look. I'm wearing this today with the Rare Beauty blush on top, but you can get a little bit more of an intense look as well if you just layer it up, and this product does build really well. When it comes to liquid products, sometimes I have an issue where they just completely erase my foundation underneath. That actually doesn't happen with this. I just apply a little bit to the back of my hand, and then I'll take like a stippling brush or a contour brush and kind of apply it to the cheeks, and it works perfectly. And once it dries down, although it doesn't fully dry down, you have a little bit of a tacky finish, but you can lightly set it with powder, it stays in place really well, which honestly kind of surprised me because it does have a glowy finish. So I just assumed it would completely wear off. But I tested it out one day. I applied it at 10 a.m. and we were outside. It was like 80 degrees. I was running around with my toddler in the backyard. I think I ran some errands. And at night when I went to wash my face at 8 p.m., it was still really vibrant. So I do find it to be long lasting, even for more of a liquid formula. I really do think this product is worth the hype. I understand why people have been raving about it for a while. And the only person I really wouldn't recommend this to is someone who likes a formula that completely dries down, because this does tend to stay a little bit tacky unless you set it. But otherwise, I think it is an absolutely stunning formula. I do want to try the new liquid bronzer after falling in love with this. I do have another product from Saie that I want to talk about in today's video. This is their new Slip Tint Concealer. So I initially wasn't interested in buying this, but I saw so many people raving about it when it first came out. I was like, all right, I have to see what all the hype is about. And now that I've had the chance to really thoroughly use it, I have to say, I do think it is overhyped. I've actually seen a lot of mixed reviews over the last few weeks, both in my comment section and online. And sometimes that happens, truthfully, because as you continue to use products and test them out and pair them with other, setting powders or foundations, you notice that it might not wear as well as you initially thought. And that did happen to me. The first time I tried it, I used it with a very long wearing matte foundation. So it did affect the finish, and it also affected the wear time. Because the foundation wears so well throughout the day, it kind of assisted this concealer in wearing a little bit better than I find that it normally does. It is a really pretty formula. It's a more natural to medium coverage formula that has like this beautiful, kind of naturally luminous finish. I actually do love using this like right where I would apply inner corner highlight, because it brightens up the eyes in a pretty way that's not too over the top. It doesn't feel like it disappears to nothing as you're blending it into the skin. So my first impressions are always really positive as I'm applying it. The issue is that it doesn't wear well for me. I do have wrinkles under my eyes, a lot of fine lines near the inner corners, and this product just settles into those areas so badly. It creases a lot worse than other hydrating concealers I've tried, and it also starts to wear away around my nose. They do claim that it's like a long wearing 12-hour concealer, and I definitely don't find that to be the case at all. If you're someone who does not want to deal with your concealer breaking down by the end of the day, this probably will not be the most ideal formula for you. Obviously, you can go in with a little bit less and it's not as noticeable, but it creases worse than a lot of other formulas I've tried. So I would say this one is is not worth the hype. It could definitely still work for you, but I just think it's not going to be the most ideal formula if you have a lot of under eye wrinkles or you have oily skin or your concealer tends to break down fast. The foundation that I initially tested with that Saie concealer is this one from Urban Decay. And I have to say, I have really found that this product is worth the hype for me personally. But again, it's not going to be for everyone. If you love a good full coverage matte long wearing foundation, I really think you'll enjoy this. So I actually ended up getting a new shade. I have the shade 5 Fair Neutral, which is still a little bit off. I think initially I had the shade 8 or 10. I can't remember. It ended up being way too dark for me. The photos online I find are a little bit different than the way this looks in person. So I have to say, this is the lightest feeling full coverage matte foundation I've ever tried. It really feels undetectable on the skin, and that is amazing because I used to try so many full coverage foundations that just felt heavy and cakey and uncomfortable, and I feel like Urban Decay has really improved their formula. To me, this is a really good replacement to the All Nighter, which was like their older full coverage matte foundation. I loved that so much, but that was a lot heavier on the skin. This is so lightweight. I really feel like it's incredible because I don't know that I really have any other foundations in my entire collection that feel so light on the skin, and especially ones that give really good coverage. This is pretty customizable. You can get lighter coverage if you use a sponge. You can shear it out a little bit with a brush, or you can build it up, which is really nice too. This is a very matte foundation. Like, it is incredibly matte. They market it as a self-setting foundation, which I don't find to be completely true for me personally. I still have to go in and kind of set my foundation with a light dusting of powder, but I use like an eighth the amount of powder I normally do with something that has a little bit more of like a glowy or luminous finish. Anyway, it's incredibly long wearing. Like, the second I put this on, it really doesn't move until I wash it off at the end of the day. And because it is so lightweight, it really doesn't look cakey on my skin throughout the day. So I am really impressed by this product. I will say that I don't tend to go for such a full, intense matte look these days, but there are times where I want that, or I want that true long-lasting finish. And on those days, I will reach for this. So in my mind, this is worth the hype, but if you do not like matte finishes, this definitely won't be for you. And in that case, you probably wouldn't enjoy it. But I think this is one of the best matte foundations that's been launched in years. Let's also talk about the new Fenty foundation. I don't know if I've used this in a video yet. I was going to, and then I feel like my videos got pushed out of order. I'll apply it for you in today's video so you can see what it looks like on the skin. I actually got a different shade. So I got 150. I think initially I ordered, I can't remember. The shade that I got was like a little bit too pink toned. So I went with 150, and this is like a perfect shade match. I do wear 150 in the matte line, but last time I wore it, it was like a little bit too light. But this is a stunning formula. This one retails for $40. It comes in 50 shades. I don't think I said the Urban Decay one retails for $40 as well, and that one comes in 40 shades. This really appealed to me because it is supposed to be like a glowy foundation, but it's also supposed to be waterproof. And they say that it reduces shine for a notch above a natural finish. So as someone who has more oily skin, I think that just sounds perfect for like a naturally luminous, glowy foundation, but something that's not so over the top that it would just melt off my skin. I like the original matte foundation, and I know that one kind of gets some mixed reviews, but because I've used that one for so long, I kind of assumed this foundation would be really thick as well, and it's not. It blends in beautifully. It's very skin-like and it has this gorgeous glow to it, but again, it's not like this overly dewy, wet-looking finish. I don't find that building this foundation up is quite as ideal. It can look a little bit heavy if you layer too much, and I don't think that's really like their intent behind it. It really is supposed to look a little more skin-like. So I would say if you want more coverage, either spot conceal before applying this or go in with concealer afterwards rather than really layering this up. I do think it's a little bit more ideal for dry skin or combo skin. If you have oily skin and you do love like a naturally luminous finish, this is maybe a more ideal option than other hydrating or luminous foundations out there that are too luminous and just end up moving around and just don't stay in place well, because this does wear pretty well throughout the day. It's not as long lasting as Urban Decay by any means. And by the end of the day, my skin is oily. Even after a few hours, I do have to blot my skin. But I do think because it is more of like a medium coverage finish, it just wears off really gracefully. So it's not like you're missing like an entire, area of foundation if you're touching your face or if you're sweating or anything like that. So it's very, very pretty. Maybe not the most ideal for oily skin, but even as someone who has oily skin, I love the way it makes my skin look. So it kind of comes down to personal preference. Okay, let me preface this next one by saying scent absolutely comes down to personal preference. That's the case with any beauty product, but especially fragrance, because I feel like a lot of fragrances smell differently to different people. And they also interact with your body chemistry differently than they might on someone else. So, that's maybe well known, but I just want to put that out there because I am going to be talking about a fragrance. I was so excited about this. I never buy full size fragrances, and I did buy a mini of this, but I almost bought the full size. And at the last minute, I was like, no, just go with the mini. It's the Kayali Vanilla Candy Rock Sugar 42. I was convinced this was going to be my absolute favorite fragrance of all time, my ideal scent for summer. The entire inspiration behind their campaign on Instagram was so heavily candy inspired. They had candied pears and bubblegum and lollipops and everything sweet and delicious. And I mean, it's called vanilla candy rock sugar. This smells really sweet when you first apply it, but then once it dries down, I kind of lose a lot of that sweetness, and it's very vanilla heavy, very patchouli heavy. And it smells good. I do like it. I just feel like it's not what I was expecting. It reminds me a lot of Vanilla 28, which I do have. It's just a little bit sweeter and a little bit lighter. I don't think it lasts as well as Vanilla 28. Vanilla 28 is super intense, and when I spray that on, it lasts all day. This one tends to wear off on me after 6 to 8 hours. And again, once it dries down, I just don't love the scent like I thought I would. So I'm really sad about it just because in my mind, I pictured it to be something a little bit different. I do enjoy it, so I'll keep wearing it. It's not my new top favorite. So obviously just my personal experience with it. I feel like the hype they drummed up for this product was so exciting and I could not wait to try it out. And then it just kind of fell short for me personally. Okay, a couple of products from Danessa Myricks that I want to talk about. The first one is the Yummy Skin Water Powder Serum. I bought this because a ton of you recommended it to me and I'm glad that I did. Thank you to everyone who left it as a suggestion. Years ago, I loved the Farsali Liquid Powder Serum and then it was discontinued. And then Makeup Revolution came out with something kind of similar, and then that was discontinued. So at this point, I don't really know of anything else on the market that's like those two products except for this. And I actually like this a little bit better. They describe this as a mattifying water to powder serum. It feels very similar to both the Farsali product and the Makeup Revolution product, but I feel like this product is mixed better. Those had actual powder suspended in liquid, so you had to really shake them up. And by the end, I feel like the powder would kind of clump together and you wouldn't always get the perfect mix between the two. Whereas I don't see any powder really suspended in the liquid in here. So you don't have to do I mean, I don't even think they recommend shaking it. Yeah, it literally says do not shake, just tap the bottom. So I feel like I'll be able to use this product up without seeing any separation. But of course, I'll keep you posted as the months go by. It really does feel like water as you apply it to the skin, but it leaves your skin feeling matte throughout the day. If you apply this product, you'll notice a big difference. If I was to use this side by side, the side that didn't have this product would get oily faster, and it would also get more oily throughout the day, whereas the side with it might still get oily, but it will take a lot longer and it won't be as oily by the end of the day. It's not something I love wearing on its own because it doesn't really smooth out my skin or prep my skin for foundation in a way that other primers do. But because it is so lightweight and basically undetectable, you can wear it under another primer. So it is an extra added step, but I feel like the benefits are worth it. It's not something that you'll see an immediate difference with, but if you have oily skin, you'll really notice throughout the day that your skin just isn't quite as oily. It's not a complete miracle worker, but it does make a difference. So I do recommend trying it out if you have extremely oily skin. If you have more combo skin, you could probably skip over it and just go in with a slightly mattifying or smoothing primer. But if you're a very oily person, you'll love this product. Okay, so I finally tried the very popular Danessa Myricks blush. These are actually the Yummy Skin blush balms. I have the shade It Girl, and it's a little bit outside of my comfort zone, but I feel like it is perfect for spring and summer. So I'm glad that I have this shade. I really wasn't sure about this formula. I think I talked about it fairly recently, and I was like, I just don't know that that will really blend well on my skin, but I was so curious about it. I decided to finally try it out. And this is such a unique, really interesting, very beautiful formula. Again, it does have ingredients in it that are kind of meant to absorb excess oil and kind of keep it in check, but it also has hyaluronic acid. It is supposed to kind of maintain hydration. So even though it's marketed as like more of an oil controlling product, there are also aspects to it that are supposed to look really smooth and moisturized on the skin too. It honestly just glides onto the skin so beautifully. You can use your fingers to kind of tap it in, but I do find that it applies best with a brush. And I was kind of shocked by how pigmented it was because when I swatched this on my hand, it looks very light and soft. Like it looks really natural. So I wasn't sure if it was going to show up really intensely on my cheeks, but it does. So I would say less is more for me personally. It's nice because it has like this soft, natural matte finish. It's not glowy, it's not dewy, but I feel like it's also kind of customizable because if I have a very glowy foundation underneath, or if I'm using like the Fenty foundation underneath, this kind of transforms and it looks a little bit more glowy. Whereas if I'm using like the Urban Decay foundation, it looks more matte. So it really is such an interesting formula. I tried the original like Yummy Skin Blurring Balm that you can use as like a primer or in place of like a complexion product. And I really liked that. So I should have known that I would like this. I'm just shocked I like it as much as I do. This definitely lasts on the skin really well, especially for something so lightweight. It has like that nice undetectable finish to it. Again, I wore this for like how long? 10 hours. I wore it side by side with the Saie blush to do like my official wear time test. And at the end of the night, when I went to wash it off, it was still really vibrant. Probably a little bit more vibrant than the Saie one because that one is more of a dewy finish, but it stays in place really well. So if you have oily skin and you want a cream blush, I highly recommend trying this out. It looks smooth, beautiful. It lasts really well. You can build it up, you can sheer it out. It's so, so nice. So now I kind of want to try out one of their new ones. I think they're marketing them as low lighters. Okay, this product is going in my overhyped section, even though I like it. I think this product is nice. I will definitely continue to use it. But again, it's like one of those brands where every time they launch something, it gets a ton of hype instantly. This is the Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Dew Balm. It's an SPF 45. It has niacinamide in it. They kind of say that it's like their watermelon glow dewdrops in stick form with SPF or with sunscreen. It's a sunscreen stick, but it's supposed to leave your skin feeling hydrated and smooth and glowy. The issue for me is that this leaves my skin looking full on greasy. Like it is the greasiest sunscreen I think I've ever tried. And that might be really great for you if you have dry skin or you don't mind like an intensely glowy look. But because it's a sunscreen stick and I end up using it all over my face, all over my neck, it's just too much. If this was marketed as like a highlighter stick, I could totally understand why it is so greasy looking. But I also think I read online, I don't know if it's like directly on the Sephora page or on their Instagram, they claim that it's not greasy, just glowy. And I don't find that to be the case. I feel like my skin looks and feels incredibly greasy when I use this. And I just feel like it's a little bit too much. Maybe I would like that in the wintertime, but even then, I probably wouldn't want something quite as intense as this. I really only prefer to use this product alone because if I layer it under my makeup looks like an absolute mess in just a few minutes. My foundation starts sliding around, it won't completely settle, it starts enhancing like fine lines and textures and just basically melting off. So I personally don't love it under makeup. I like a good stick sunscreen. I feel like it's convenient, it's nice for reapplication. I just wish it wasn't quite so glowy. So that could come down to personal preference, but I feel like for a lot of people, it might just end up being too much unless you're using a light amount. But they do recommend like swiping over the same spot 4 times to get the recommended amount of product for the most ideal sun protection. So you have to layer a lot of this on your skin. So just my thoughts on this. It doesn't burn my eyes. It has like a light watermelon scent. It's not over the top by any means. I just feel like I'll stick stick with like a traditional sunscreen or a few other formulas that aren't quite as intense. So I've been testing out the One Size setting spray for probably the last few weeks, and I have to say this product locks your makeup into place. I've really gotten into setting sprays over the last year. I think it's because I try not to apply quite as much foundation or as much powder day to day, but I still want my makeup to last. So I'll use a setting spray. And right now my favorite is the one from LYS Beauty. But I will say that one is more of like a good everyday natural setting spray. It still locks my makeup into place, but it feels very lightweight. It doesn't feel like I'm like hairspraying the face like this one does. And I have to say, even though this one is very intense and it does feel like you're applying hairspray to your face, it locks your makeup into place very, very well. It's probably the most heavy duty setting spray I've ever tried. And the more you really drench your face with this product, the better your makeup is going to last. It's not an everyday formula for me because, to be honest, it's not the most comfortable as you're applying it. It has a very strong scent, so it really does feel like you're applying hairspray to your face. So that being said, for me, this is more of like a special occasion setting spray. It's not something that I'll use every single day because I just feel like I'm inhaling so much of it. It doesn't feel like the most pleasant experience, but it really does work well. I saw the hack on TikTok where I think it was like Glamzilla was talking about like spraying her lips with this product if she had a lipstick that wasn't transfer proof. And I have to say I did that because I didn't have a like fully matte liquid lipstick in the shade that I wanted to wear. Again, I don't really recommend doing that every single day because you end up inhaling a ton of it, but it did lock that lipstick into place really well. So if you need a true like transfer proof all day wear setting spray, this really is the one to try. The last thing we're going to talk about is a hair product. So this, it kind of falls in the middle for me because I do think for the most part, it's worth the hype, but it has one major con that kind of knocks it down for me personally. So it is the Day Fairy Duster Dry Shampoo. I actually like this so much more than I initially thought I would. I was like, I don't know if that's going to spray evenly into my hair, if I'm going to end up with like a ton of white residue, if I'm going to fly through this very quickly. It looks like a small bottle because like half of it is the nozzle and then half of it is the actual bottle. And if you're used to like an aerosol dry shampoo, those can come in really big cans. But they say online that this is equal to like 4 different 4-ounce dry shampoos. And I think they said there's like 600 pumps of product in here. Obviously, I haven't used it that long. I still have a lot in here, but I have to say you end up using less, or I end up using less than I thought I would. Like a little bit really does go a long way. When I initially used this product, I actually went 3 days before I washed my hair. I'm normally like an every other day type of person when it comes to washing my hair, but this made my hair look really good, really clean for 3 days. It's a little bit of like a gritty texture. So when you spray this in your hair doesn't feel like you can run your fingers through it. Like there is texture to it, there's volume. It almost feels like a little bit tangly, a little bit sandy, which normally I don't love, but I have come to appreciate a little bit of texture because I feel like it adds volume, especially on the second day when my hair can tend to look really flat. It does leave a white cast, so I prefer to use it at night because the next day when I wake up, I feel like most of that white cast is gone. If I spray this in my hair right now, like I wouldn't really be able to get it fully out no matter how much I combed it. So I do recommend using it at night if you have dark hair or you're kind of trying to avoid that white cast because it is pretty intense. It does smell good. It has like a citrus floral scent. I do feel like it's pretty strong as you're applying the product, but again, if I spray it at night when I wake up, I don't notice that it's really there. Everything sounds great. Like it really is such a good product. And if that's where it ended, I would say this is absolutely worth the hype. It's a game changer. It adds volume. It makes my hair look clean and fresh. It smells good. It's easy to use. A little goes a long way. Like there are so many pros, but the con for me is a big one. It makes it look like I have the worst case of dandruff in the entire world. And it doesn't happen every single time, but if I spray this in my hair and like the next morning as I'm getting ready, I run a brush through my hair, specifically at my scalp, it will look like I have horrible dandruff. Like this product really just flakes off my scalp so badly. The first time that happened, I was like, what is going on? Because I have struggled with dandruff in the past. It's not something I currently struggle with, and it's not really something I ever struggle with in the summertime. So first I was like, that's weird. Am I just having like a reaction to it? But then I was reading through the reviews on Sephora's website, and I specifically typed in like scalp or flaking, and there were a couple of reviews that popped up saying the same exact thing. And someone posted a picture, and that is exactly what my hair looks like when I use this and I run a brush brush through it. So please let me know if you've tried that and you've had the same experience, or if you have any like tips or tricks on how you like to use it, because I really do love it. So that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching. I would love to hear from you if you've tried any of these products, if you love them or you don't. Let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget to check out Agency. I'll pin a comment below and put a link at the top of the description box. And make sure you take advantage of the 30-day free trial. All you have to do is pay $4.95 for shipping and handling, and I know you'll love it as much as I do. So thanks again for watching. I'll see you very soon with a new one. Bye.